Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. From now the headlines as usual.
Vietnamese and Laos defense ministries foster all-round cooperation. Report shows way for Vietnam to reach net zero emissions. And later on, precious documents on ancient Vietnamese return to the homeland.
Vietnamese and Lao defense ministries will work to comprehensively implement their cooperation plan in 2022 as agreed by their deputy ministers on June the 2nd.
Nguyễn Tân Cường, Deputy Defense Minister and Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army, and Kham Liang Arthur Khe Son, Deputy Defense Minister and Chief of the General Staff of the Lao People's Army, reached the consensus during their talks in Hanoi as part of the Lao officers' visit to Vietnam from June the 1st to 4th. Cường stressed that Kham Liang Arthur Khe Son visit, which take place in the Vietnam Friendship and Solidarity Year 2022, will be a driving force for cooperation between two armies. Kham Liang said Laos always highly values the time-honored friendship and comprehensive cooperation, and expressed his belief that it will have to fight challenges and plots that aim to undermine the bilateral relationship. They held that the mutual support of medical equipment in the COVID-19 fight vividly demonstrates the solidarity between two armies. The two sides agreed to step up information sharing between the border guards, conduct more joint patrols, and continue to coordinate in the fight against crimes and illegal migration, and ensuring security and safety in border areas. Following their talks, Kham Liang Arthur Khe Son paid a courtesy visit to Defense Minister General Phan Van Giang, who said the bilateral defense cooperation has been deepened across spheres. The Vietnamese Defense Ministry hopes for stronger multifaceted cooperation between two sides, the general noted. Kham Liang Arthur Khe Son told his host that the General Staff of the Lao People's Army has made efforts to contribute to preserving and promoting the special relations between two countries and armies.
On June the 2nd, the Vietnam Energy Outlook report, developed in close cooperation between the Danish Energy Agency, the Electricity and Renewable Energy Authority, and the Embassy of Denmark, was presented in Hanoi. The report shows how Vietnam can reach its target of net zero greenhouse gas emissions in 2050.
The message of the Vietnam Energy Outlook Report 2021 is clear. There's great potential for green transition in Vietnam, which by 2050 can become a net zero carbon economy as set out by Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính during COP26 in Glasgow. In details, the report provides mid to long-term perspective on possible development paths for Vietnam's energy system towards 2050, guides policymakers and inspires deliberations on the green transition. Danish experts said Vietnam has already come a long way with its green transition. Vietnam can decouple energy consumption and economic development and transform its energy system into a more sustainable and green energy system by investing in renewable energy and energy-saving technologies.
Growth in the agriculture, industry, trade and tourism sectors in the first 5 months of 2022 have provided solid support for Vietnam's overall economic growth, which is expected to reach 6% in the second quarter and exceed 7% for the year as a whole. Strong recovery in the agriculture, industry and service sectors will be crucial for the country to achieve its growth targets.
Export turnover in the first 5 months is estimated at nearly $153 billion, a 16.3% increase compared to the same period last year. Of note, industrial production, the backbone of the economy, rose at estimated 10.4% year-on-year in May. Total revenue from retail sales, services and consumptions increased 9.7%. Data on certain key sectors shows that the economy is witnessing a strong recovery.
The agriculture sector will maintain growth of around 2.5 to 2.7% this year, while industry and construction will both see stronger recoveries. with growth in the first 5 months expected to continue over the remainder of the year. And the sectors such as services and catering will also blossom. I expect that services, especially tourism and other sectors that generate jobs and stimulate domestic consumption, will thrive in the second quarter and the remaining months of the year.
Economic analysts also believe that sectors associated with the digital economy, such as e-commerce, banking, telecommunications, and education and training, will also flourish this year. Strong recovery and growth in different sectors will create momentum and opportunities for enterprises, but we also face challenges in international markets due to global political instability and high input prices, among other factors, according to experts.
Large volumes of mangoes, jackfruit, longanians, dragon fruit, and lychees have been transported to the thăm border gate in the northern province of Lạng for export to China. In a bid to ease congestion and facilitate fruit exports, relevant local authorities are working to accelerate custom clearance procedures.
According to authorities at the thăm border gate, vehicles carrying fruit for export are prioritized for custom clearance in the morning to guarantee freshness.
We have created the best possible conditions for exporters. A specific zone has been set up for lychee exporters to ensure they can ship their fruit within a day.
Our vehicles are able to complete customs clearance procedures quickly. The border guard at thăm border gate works around the clock to guarantee the smooth passage of vehicles carrying fruit for export, helping ease congestion.
We are doing our best to monitor vehicles so that fresh fruit can be quickly shipped to China.
Thăm border gate authorities said that more than 1,500 vehicles carrying fresh fruit to China cleared customs from May 15 to 31st.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has just issued a directive on strengthening the prevention of school violence and bullying while seeking strict punishment for any breaches.
The Prime Minister asked the Ministry of Public Security to work closely with educational management agencies to strengthen information exchange and publicity on the prevention of crime and other affairs to strengthen safety measures in schools and prevent and deal with illegal behavior and bullying. School violence and bullying is a global problem that affects many children and young people. Beyond impacting on their studies, it can also harm their physical and mental well-being.
The government has given in-principle approval to developing 3 industrial parks in Hải Phòng, Bắc Giang and Hà Nam in the north, whose combined investment totals of nearly $270 million.
They include the 410-hectare Tiên Thanh Industrial Park in Tiên Lãng District, Hải Phòng City, the 85-hectare expansion of Hòa Phú Industrial Park in Hiệp Hòa District, Bắc Giang Province, and the 49-hectare expansion of Đồng Văn 1 Industrial Park in Hà Nam Province. The government has also agreed in principle to raise the total investment of Phú Thuận Industrial Park in Bình Đại District, the Mekong Delta Province of Bến Tre, to more than $154 million from some $91 million pledged in 2017. The Đồng Văn Industrial Park 1, together with Đồng Văn Industrial Park 2, 3, and 4, are home to hundreds of foreign invested companies, which are providing jobs for dozens of thousands of local people with stable incomes.
The overseas Vietnamese business community is an important resource to have developed the distribution network, thereby increasing the export turnover of Vietnamese goods to the world, heard a workshop held in Ho Chi Minh City by the Municipal Committee for Overseas Vietnamese Affairs.
Nguyễn Đình Phú, chairman of the Association of Vietnam Entrepreneurs in the U.S., said Vietnamese-American households spend $57 billion a year on buying consumer goods. The Vietnamese business community in the U.S. acts as a bridge for domestic enterprises to participate in trade promotion activities in the country, he said, adding that they can provide information on U.S. legal regulations for new businesses who want to access the U.S. market to minimize trade risks. Phan Thị Thắng, Vice Chairwoman of the Ho Chi Minh City's People Committee, said it's necessary for the domestic business community and overseas Vietnamese enterprises to focus on solutions to diversify forms and scales of trade promotion, connections among the businesses, as well as between businesses and consumers abroad.
There are many ways to become patriotic. Beyond a feeling, many see patriotism as requiring specific action, like members of the Trường Sa voluntary group, who have spent 8 years helping local people in the far-flung Trường Sa archipelago have a better life.
Artist Ho Lien from the Vietnam National Drama Theatre beamed with pride when talking about her trip to Trường Sa archipelago and DK1 platform with the working delegation of the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union in 2014. She said her love for Trường Sa and her patriotism have grown strongly.
Our love for Trường Sa grows, and we decided to do something meaningful for the archipelago.
Images of the soldiers and citizens who spare no effort in protecting the country's sacred seas and skies urged Lien and her partners on the trip to form Trường Sa voluntary group once they were back on the mainland.
When I set foot on Trường Sa archipelago, I knew I had to do something to build the country.
Over the past 8 years, the voluntary group has joined hands with local authorities and organizations to build 50 houses for the poor and present 100 bank saving books to Montaire's relatives, lonely elders, and former young volunteers in difficult circumstances. It also spent some $860,000 on supporting families affected by natural disasters and building bridges for local people in mountainous areas. A sense of patriotism through voluntary work has also inspired young Vietnamese living abroad.
Love for Trường Sa archipelago should not only be in the heart, but also in action. I hope the voluntary model will be expanded so that more young Vietnamese in Europe can take part in efforts to build and protect the country's seas and islands.
8 years is not a long journey, but their patriotism has encouraged members of the voluntary group to continue their work to bring love to the country's sacred islands.
An old book depicting mechanics and crafts of the Vietnamese people and other precious documents regarding the 1973 Paris Peace Agreement were handed over at a ceremony in Hanoi on June 1st.
Mechanics and crafts of the Annamite people meticulously depicts the life and activities of Vietnamese people in professions ranging from craftsmen, traders, and civil servants to freelancers in 1908 and 1909. The materials, tools, and working methods of Vietnamese people at that time are realistically depicted through some 4,000 paintings and photos. Along with the book, pictures and documents of the Paris Peace Conference in 1973 were also presented to the National Archives Center No. 3. These were kept and encrypted at the French side and include audio from important talks between the two countries during that historic period. The State Commissions for Overseas Vietnamese Affairs and Nguyễn Thiệp, former Vietnamese ambassador to France, are the givers of the precious documents.